from Liverpool, England. He brings a professional record consisting of 19 wins, no defeats, 1 draw, 11 of his 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBC featherweight world title challenger, Nick the Wrecking Ball.
Well, here comes Nick. Here comes Nick, the Wrecking Ball, introduced there as the former WBC World Featherweight title challenger. Many feel he should be the WBC World Featherweight champion. Held to a draw by Ray Vargas back in March. Many feel that he actually won that fight.
And now let's welcome the defending world champion representing Matchroom. From Camden, New Jersey, USA, he brings an undefeated record with 15 wins, 1 draw, 8 of his 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and defending WBA featherweight champion of the world, Ray Savage Ford.
Well, here comes the defending champion, very much Team Matchroom. Donned in the tracksuit, made his intentions very clear at the press conference. Believes that he can win this fight any way that he likes. First defense of his world title. He won in such dramatic fashion last time out against Kalmatov. 7 seconds left in that fight.
To the scale, the challenger.
Let's have a look at Nick Ball on the scales now.
125.8 for Nick the Wrecking Ball.
Well, as expected, Nick Ball indeed does make weight. The official weights were actually done earlier today.
Now to the scale, the defending world champion. $125.4 for Ray Savage Ford.
There was a lot of conversation about Ray Ford and this weight division. He talked about moving up to 130, very much stuck to 126 for this fight and defends against Nick Ball.
They both made it earlier without any dramas. I do think he's tight at the weight, Ray Ford, but everybody's tight at the lower weights. It's always difficult to make it. I've seen him around this week quite a lot, and he has looked low on energy. He's been moving quite slowly. Funnily enough, I've seen him in a canteen a few times. I don't know what he's been doing there, basically torturing himself, watching everybody else eat. But Nick's got this down to an absolute fine art, Nick Ball, because I saw him come up earlier before the weigh-in where he had a jump on the scales. I think he might have still had just a tiny bit left to go, went away, came back again and made it. They like to hit it bang on if they can.
Just a knowing kind of nod there from Ray Savage Ford, kind of smirking at Nick Ball, but Nick Ball has smirked right back. They are just brought about by security, but I quite like that, Moses. Nice face-off.
Yeah. So I like that Nick Ball isn't taking it. He's not showing no emotions. It's going to be very hard to kind of shake him up.
Our next 2 fighters competing tomorrow in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the WBC Silver Championship, and it is a final eliminator for the WBC Middleweight World Championship. Let's first welcome the challenger representing Matchroom from Houston, Texas, USA. He brings an undefeated record with 16 wins. Williams.
Well, here comes Austin Ammo Williams. Call him outrageous, call him charismatic. What you have to call him is a very good unbeaten middleweight and the toughest test in the career of Hamza Sheeraz. And Andy, I'm pretty sure I've seen you in that sort of attire in the past, no?
He's been in my room. He's got a tiger's tail on and a headdress. It's an interesting combo, definitely. He's quite intense, isn't he? He's an intense kind of guy.
The defending champion representing Queensberry, and he is the team captain. Hailing from Ilford, England, he is undefeated with 19 wins, 15 of his 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBC silver middleweight champion, Hamza Sheeraz.
The unbeaten Hamza Sheeraz, the Queensberry captain, has taken to it like an absolute privilege all week. And Moses, you're very much a Queensberry man.
Yep.
That's a good captain to have there, right?
100%. The first time I watched Hamza was in Poland. It was last year, and he really impressed me. I liked how efficient he is, how he doesn't waste no punches. He sits down in the shots. He's had good power punches, very long rangey. I think this is going to be a Queensberry W.
Well, he's got 13 knockouts in a row, but this, Andy, would be the best knockout of his career if he gets this Williams out of there.
Absolutely, for both of these two, it's the biggest fight of their career to date. They both had good wins, but this is their biggest test, and that's why it's hard to call.
I'm a bit surprised the tail isn't up. I thought he was looking quite happy, and maybe the tail would be up, but the tail remains down.
For Austin Williams.
I give it to him, man. You got to be confident to be this braggadocious.
Now to the scale, the defending champion.
Hamza Sheeraz has brought some fans here with him. They are starting to make a bit of noise here. Team HS. As Sheeraz takes to the scales.
159.6 for Hamza Sheeraz.
Amazing to think that he used to box at super welter, isn't it? How did he do that?
Yeah, unbelievable that he got down to that kind of weight. I mean, he probably end up at, you know, light heavyweight, maybe even beyond that. 6'4".
Never know, he might end up as heavyweight.
Moses, what do you make of the outfit, by the way? Is this something that would intimidate you?
No, but I kind of rate it, you know. I think. Listen, you gotta have extreme confidence to pull that off. And he don't look too bad. Don't know about the towel, but why not?
Well, look at the intensity here. Just the same as yesterday. It's going to take an awful lot to break the eye contact between these two. There were sunglasses yesterday, not today, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there's a little bit of a wind, so I can understand why shades would be a decent idea, but I guess for the real one, Moses, at the weigh-in, you've got to get those sunglasses off and have a good look.
100%. You want to know what the opponent's all about. I think you can gauge a lot by where he's looking, what colour his lips are, if he's shaking or not, his heartbeat. It all comes to play.
Well, Austin Williams looks fired up, gives a final kind of battle cry to the crowd.
In a scheduled 12-round contest, it will be for the vacant WBC Silver Light Heavyweight Championship. Let's first welcome, representing Matchroom from London, England. He brings a professional record consisting of 18 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, 11 of his 18 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome the former British champion and former world title challenger, Craig Spider Richards.
Well, along came a spider. Craig Spider Richards is the man looking to halt the Hutch train on Saturday night and get big points for Matchroom. It's a cracking fight at light heavyweight, this one, Moses. Craig Richards, Willie Hutchinson, cracking fight.
Very interesting. I've been asking a few people about who they think's going to win, and 95% of them said they have not even got an answer, so that's what the best fights
And now let's welcome, representing Queensberry, hailing from Carstairs, Scotland. He had a stellar amateur career, and now as a professional, he has a record of 17 wins, just 1 defeat, 13 of his 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Willie the Hutch Train Hutchinson.
Well, stand by. Do not cross the yellow line. because here comes the Hutch train. Willie Hutchinson has been talking a good game all week, has every plan to end this fight within the distance and become the first man to stop Craig Richards. Some people are calling him deluded, some people call him crazy. He's a very confident man, Andy.
Yeah, he absolutely is. He's going to have to show us something we've never seen from him before if he's got to win this fight, but in every career that comes that night, he's had one against Lennox Clark, he came up short, he can't come up short again.
Let me add just so quickly saying there. To be in this game, you need a bit of delusional, you need a bit of delusion, you need a bit of self-confidence, a bit of belief. Otherwise, why are you here?
174.2 for Craig Spider Richards.
Craig Richards makes championship weight.
Now we welcome to the scale Willie the Hutch Train Hutchinson. £174 for Willie the Hutch Train Hutchinson.
Well, both fighters make championship weight, and now this is a face-off I'm very much looking forward to. It's been quite intense between them this week.
100%. We'll can't wait.
That's a really interesting thing you said there, Moses, about fighters having to tread that fine line between self-confidence and self-delusion, because it is that, isn't it? You have to believe when that bell goes that the unthinkable, which is losing, is actually impossible, that it's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter if nobody else shares it, you have to believe it.
100%. Most of the biggest upsets come from the most delusional people.
Well, they are nose to nose here. You can see Frank Warren just with his hand on the shoulder of Willie Hutchinson, just in case he does need to just pull him back a little bit. Security in there as well, but they will need to be split apart here.
They were right on the line there, weren't they? That's an interesting situation, you know, when you go forehead to forehead like that. Do you remember Fury doing that to Usyk at the press conference? Yeah. And you can't give ground, can you? In that situation, you cannot give any ground.
Show no weakness.
Tomorrow night, it is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for both the WBA and IBO light heavyweight championships of the world. Let's first welcome the challenger, a native of Libya, now fighting out of Pieta, Malta. He brings an undefeated record with 22 wins, 16 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Malik Zinad.
Well, here comes Malik Zinad, a huge opportunity for him. He got the call. Beterbiev had to pull out. They needed a replacement. Out of the chaos came opportunity for this man here who jumped at the chance and can change his life. He takes on Dimitri Bivol tomorrow night as part of a huge show here in Riyadh. What an opportunity to become Libya's first world champion.
And now let's welcome the defending world champion, a native of Kyrgyzstan, now fighting out of Indio, California, USA. He is undefeated with 22 wins, 11 of his 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBA and IBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Dimitri Bivol.
Comes the unbeaten WBA and IBO World Light Heavyweight Champion Dimitri Bivol. Very simply, one of the best fighters in the world today, and says he took the news of the Beterbiev pullout like a true professional. Very quickly shifted his focus. And this should be an interesting fight, because you can tell from Malik Zinad, that's a man who's hungry, that's a man who wants it, Moses.
100%, he definitely looks determined to cause an upset. I don't know if the world's ready for too many of them anymore.
$174.2 for Malik Zinad.
It's not that big, is he, Malik Zinad? That's one thing I think when I look at him. for a light heavy.
£175 for Dimitri Bivol.
Well, both fighters make championship weight, and you talk about upsets, Moses. I tell you, the place upsets tend to happen is right here in Riyadh. Strange things happen here.
100%.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 12-round contest for both the WBA and IBO light heavyweight championships of the world.
He's copying my technique, man. Look left, look right. He's copying my technique.
Who, Malik Zinad?
No, Bivol. Look to your left eye, look to the right eye, look to the left eye, look to the right eye.
He's got that kind of almost cyborg kind of vibe, hasn't he, Bivol? He's a man machine, isn't he? Shows no emotion.
He's a boxing prototype. That's what he is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the big boys of the boxing world, the heavyweight division. Now, how do you top what happened 2 weeks ago here in Riyadh when we crowned for the first time in a quarter of a century the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? Well, 2 weeks later, here we are. We've got 5 versus 5, Queensberry versus Matchroom, and the heavyweight division is represented in our final 2 bouts. This contest coming up, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Interim Heavyweight Championship of the World. Let's bring the fighters to the scale. First, representing Queensberry, he's the former WBA regular heavyweight world champion. His record, 20 victories. He has 19 KOs, only 2 defeats. He is Dynamite Daniel Dubois.
Well, here comes the all-business Daniel Dynamite Dubois, coming off a career-best win right here in Riyadh in December against Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Had to answer a few questions that night. Showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of grit, and got the job done. You must have been impressed with his performance against Big Baby Miller, Moses.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the experience that he's got from the Jarrell Miller fight, and although he lost to Usyk, I do feel like he's gained a lot of experience from that fight also. And it could play a toll in the fight tomorrow against Hrgovic.
His professional record, 17 fights, 17 victories. He has 14 of those 17 by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from Croatia, the undefeated Filip El Animo Hrgovic.
Well, here comes El Animal, Olympic bronze medalist, unbeaten heavyweight. IBF Interim Heavyweight Championship on the line against Daniel Dubois. Both fighters have talked this fight up.
Representing Queensberry, he's a former WBA regular heavyweight world champion. Comes to us from London, England. His record, 20 victories, 19 by KO, only 2 defeats. Weighing in at 245.8 pounds for the former world champion, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
That's quite heavy for Dubois. That's quite heavy. He was 239 against Miller. 245 is 17.5 stone. That's the heaviest he's been for a good while.
I think it's a career heavy, Andy.
17 fights, 14 KOs. Filip El Animal Hrgovic. 247.4. 247.4 pounds.
And he's coming pretty heavy as well, Andy.
Yeah, 247 for him is pretty much where he normally is. Just a little bit heavier, 2-3 pounds above where we normally see him. But that's quite interesting with Dubois coming in just a touch heavier. It's nothing mind-blowing. Do you feel, Moses, like he needs to start quick, Dubois? Not be reckless or gung-ho, but Hrgovic, the one thing I would say about him is I'm not really sure if he's got gears. You can't let him dictate the pace.
Yeah, I can see that. I also do feel like Hrgovic hasn't got a good gas tank, so I don't know. I'm the most excited for this fight, if I'll be honest with you. It's a very curious fight for me, and yeah, 2 future world champions, I believe.
And the winner, of course, could be taking on Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium.
Saudi Arabia.
The stakes are very high. IBF interim.
Hrgovic.
IBF interim heavyweight championship on the line.